Unstoppable people. How you guys doing this morning? Welcome to another edition of Unstoppable with Ralph Grace Jr. So glad to have you guys here today. We're talking about three timeless lessons to add to our personal development and personal growth. That's what we're talking about today. And it's another Wednesday. It's December 22nd. And it's almost Christmas. I don't know if you guys are ready to do your Christmas shopping. I used to start. I used to didn't start till the 22nd, but I've gotten good. I'm almost done. So welcome. Hey, today's guest, I invited him to the stage. A dear friend of mine, um, Eric Brown. He is the CEO of JTP Transportation. He's also a very competent, very sought after speaker and trainer, and he and I just happened to be friends since we were about 18 months old. He's one of the guys I've been knowing the longest on the planet. And I said, hey, man, listen, why don't you jump on the platform with me tomorrow? And he said, sure. And it's difficult sometimes to find those who you grew up with to really be actually moving the same direction as you are. And so, Eric, welcome, man. Thanks for being here, man.
Hey, Ralph. Thank you, man. Thank you. Hopefully, this is my first time on Fireside, and I feel privileged to be here. This is pretty exciting. I love
Yeah,
new things. It's a little challenging for me right now to make sure I'm doing this right, but I found the
you'll be all right.
monkey.
You found the monkey. And I hate telling people, tap the monkey. It don't sound right when you tell people to tap the monkey, but just tap the monkey. Put yourself on mute or the microphone, and then to come off mute, you hit the monkey again. It's Cedro, man. Good to have you here today. Thank you for being a listener. Thank you for taking the time out to listen to what we're talking about today, man. Always, I don't know if it's your first time here, but I think I've seen you on here before, so thanks. My man Marwan, he is. I see Marwan every week. Marwan, thank you for showing up today. Um, Merry Christmas if you're celebrating it. If you're just using it as a time to relax, that's great too. So glad to have you guys on here. But we're talking about timeless. We're talking about three timeless personal development lessons that have persisted for decades. And the reason why we're diving into this and kind of talked about it, gentlemen, and see if I got all the fellas on today, and ladies, if you're listening, I'd love to have you jump on as well. Is that your life will never go beyond your own personal development. I mean, that's just the bottom line. I don't care what you try to do. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care what's going on in your life. You cannot live beyond your own personal development. I had this conversation with my son this morning. I said, son, listen, I don't care how much money you make. Um, if you're not growing in the area of personal development, it's really your life is never going to change, and that's for all of us here. So there are three. There are much more. There are many more timeless lessons, but we're just going to talk about three, maybe four. I think we ended last week in saying this, and we could dive into a little bit. I know Eric, it's your first time up here. Marwan, um, jump on up on stage if you guys want to come up. Sidra, if you want to come up, man, just hit the button. I love to hear from you. This is not just Ralph talking. This is 30 minutes of men and women pouring into each other in this area of personal growth. We talked about last week, we ended with an action plan is necessary for change. And a lot of us want to change, but you have to have an action plan that you can't just say 2022 is going to be different. It's not going to be any different if you don't have an action plan for change. I remember a lot of you guys know who Darren Hardy is. And he always talked about an actual. If you don't know who Darren Hardy is, one of the most foremost leaders in organizational leadership and personal growth. He established an action plan. It's a one page. Um, it used to be in the back of a magazine, and it was a one page that explored 10 ways you can put ideas into practice. All right. So you should have an action plan. Put some of your ideas into practice. Make a plan. One of the lessons in entrepreneurship and personal development, you have to understand none of it will stick unless you actually apply them. If what we talk about today, it's great knowing this stuff, but if you don't actually apply it, it's never going to stick. An action plan is necessary for change, especially in the area of personal development. Eric, jump on up, man. Take yourself off. You can tap the monkey. Amen. There you
Yeah,
go.
yeah,
What do you think
yeah.
about that, man?
An action plan, like, yeah,
Action
I love
plan
that.
being necessary for change.
Definitely. I think it was James Clear in Atomic Habits says you don't rise to the level of your motivation, you fail to the level of your systems. So like I look at like might be wrong, but I don't know. I look at like an action plan as like a system. You
Yeah,
have to have routines and a plan to get from point A to B in your life and whatever it is. So
yeah,
without those plans, it's just a dream, right?
yeah. And so, what do
You
you
know.
do, man? Do you have any? What is your exercise for planning out, um, be it your day, your month, or what kind of do you like? What do you do to reach your goals?
Yeah, it's I used to hold everything in my head, and my life was kind of chaotic. I would succeed because through the power of positive thinking or whatever, but and just God just blessing me. But um, it wasn't too focused, and a lot of things eluded me. So what I always knew, but I was just too. I don't know if it's laziness or I just never did it. I didn't write things down, and I come across a couple of years ago uh, a few years ago, guys like Tim Ferriss and some other guys were really pushing journals, Maxwell and things like that. And I'd say, yeah, 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 but just tell me how to make it. And they kept saying write down that the answer's inside your head, and through writing every day, you'll scratch it out. Things will pop up, and sometimes you just want to write, just write. So finally, one day, I got this journal from Brendan Bouchard, who kind of like just gives you a little outline to a little help on each day what to write about, like one thing I can get excited about. So it's a bunch of them. It's about 20 things you write down throughout the day. His is kind of extensive, but the most powerful thing was big projects that I have to keep in mind that I want to take on, even if I can't act toward them today. So you write down each day big projects that you need to take on, but you write them down even if you're not going to do anything about them today. And I had like four they were like boogeymen in my life, like things I really wanted, but they just always eluded me. I never
Yeah,
I said I wanted it, but I never acted towards it. So I just said, man, I'm just going to do it, he says, and I wrote these things down, and they were some goals that fell. I wanted to do these things, these four things that I started writing down for over some. One of them was like 10 years old, and I never acted to it. They all were accomplished within 6 months. And
wow,
I didn't write
wow,
any kind of strategic, well thought out plan. I just kept writing them down. And I think um, it was that consistency, that
yeah,
consistency that this is what I need to move on. And of course, I was doing other things, but there's certain things in your life. I don't know if you're like me, but certain things that I don't know if they scare you, but they're really big, man. And I think deep down inside, sometimes you don't think that you can do them yourself, so you never
yeah.
take an action towards them. But
Well, you know what?
what I
A
learned,
lot of us have. A lot of us.
hmm
Sorry, man. A lot of us have. I think everybody listening, whether you're listening now or listening on the replay, we all have something in our lives, a few things in our lives that are scary. And what you just said falls right into this personal development. Even though you were writing it down, you writing it down caused you to not only develop but to activate a plan to watch those giants fall. And they weren't
yeah,
falling until a plan was put in place. And I hope the listeners really understand that. Whatever it is, business, relationship, money wise, whatever the case may be, an action plan is necessary for change. And I'm glad you were transparent, man. Talk about how scary it is. Listen, there are things that we face that are like, I don't feel like tackling that. I like what you said. You said when you were dealing with Brouchard and those guys, or. just tell me the plan, man. Just tell me how to make it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That doesn't
Just
exist.
tell
You
me how to
make
make
it.
it.
Just tell me
It,
how to
it doesn't
make it.
have to be a it doesn't even have to be a good plan. It just says make a plan. And that's the thing I think it was making me stumble is because I wanted some grand laid out plan that sounded like something that, Maxwell might write out or Steve Jobs or somebody else you might whoever you look up to. But no, it's just a plan. How you're going to get there is kind of none of your business. It's you have to start that first action, you know,
Yeah,
small as it
yeah.
might be.
And so that's point. No, well, that's the bonus point because there's still three other ones I wanted to tackle today, but we kind of closed out last week on that. Hey, Isidro, I'd love to invite you up on stage, man. I hope I'm saying your name right. No disrespect, Marwan. I hope I'm saying your name right, man. You show up every week, and it's always good to see you, brother. If you want to jump on stage and just to add to some of that, uh, um, you know, how, did you have an action plan? Did it change before you made an action plan? And I think sometimes guys, um, again, I'm talking to I keep saying guys because it's just men in the room today. A lot of times we think we can just will stuff out of the way. We can just dodge things out of the way. Guys, we need to have a plan for everything. You need to have a health plan for your health. How are you keeping your health together? You need to have a financial plan, a business plan, a relationship plan. Did I say financial plan? You need to have all of these things. Your life will never go beyond your level of personal development and an action plan. I know we talked about change, but an action plan is necessary for change. An action plan, and it might be as simple as what Eric shared as let me just write this thing down. Let me write down what scares me. I may not even work on it today, but let me write it down. And within 6 months, something happened. Something happened from head to pen, from head to hand to pen on the paper. And in 6 months, that thing that kind of had him shook was leveled to the ground. So action plan is necessary. So let's talk about some of the stuff, some of the new things I want to look at today. One thing is this: in personal development, ladies and gentlemen, we have to understand that bad habits can break you. Bad habits can break you. All of us have habits, right? All of us are made up of habits. Bad habits can break you. Um, and here's something that is eye opening. Nobody um, nobody can find this out, or nobody has to find this out for yourself. You will have to find this out for yourself. Is what I'm trying to say. Nobody will tell you. You will find out for yourself if you're not careful. That bad habits will break you. Hey, Natalie, welcome to the program. Thank you, Natalie, for jumping on. We're talking about three timeless lessons in personal development that have persisted for decades. We talked about an action plan necessary for change, but bad habits. Bad habits can break us. I don't know if you got any bad habits. I don't even want to use this platform to discuss all of our bad habits, but I need to know. I need you to know this: it will be your bad habits that will break you. I know we like to point the finger to other people and blame other people and do the blame game, but anybody see on Netflix? Kevin Hart has this show on called True Story. Now, I haven't watched all of it, but when I have my spare time, they're half hour. It's only 6 episodes. It's been out there for a little while, so it's taking me a long time to get through it because I'm doing a lot of stuff. But he's doing great as a comedian, and this is in the show called True Story. And the downfall began. He had stopped drinking. The character had stopped drinking for 6 months, and the downfall to how this whole thing began to crash. He hung out with his brother one day and some old friends from school, and he took that one drink again, and that bad habit started, and it started collapsing from there. Ladies and gentlemen, bad habits can break us in this area of personal development. This is sometimes some of the hard lessons that we have to find out on our own. I know I found out a lot of lessons on my own, even though people tried to steer me away. I can testify to you that I have learned some hard lessons just on myself, just bringing it to myself. But bad habits can break us. Bad habits can break us. Hey, Jasmine's on. Welcome, Jasmine, to the program. Good to see you, Jazz. We're talking about 3 timeless personal development lessons that have persisted for decades. Our guest today up on stage with me is none other than Eric Brown, the president and CEO of JTP Transportation. And Eric, talk to us, man. Without sharing some of the bad habits, how have you dealt with breaking some of the bad habits? Let me say this: bad habits make you and break you. What's the strategy, Eric, that you used to break a bad habit that you knew was destroying you, without telling us what the habit was? This is a national
I
this is a
already,
national
I
platform.
already, I already had a story, about.
No.
Thank you. About eating bad. I told you the other day I'm going out to the movie to see Spider-Man No Way Home with my kids and everybody, and I have this, like on the show you just talked about with Kevin Hart. Um,
Yeah.
Man, I I eat terrible when I go to the movies, and whatever you put on my lap while I'm in the movie theaters, I'm eating poorly. So
Right.
I'm gonna eat it all. I'm gonna eat it all before but when when they're still doing the trailers on the movie ain't even started and everything's gone. The family size of peanuts or M&Ms, everything's gone. But
Before the movie starts.
what before the movie starts, yeah, and then I'm in a sugar rush up there, sweating and feeling terrible about myself, crying like I'm Eddie Murphy and Nutty Professor when he was eating that ice cream, watching exercise videos. So, so what I have to do is prepare. You have to make it easy for you to eat. Our brains, is as sophisticated as we like to think we are, we're very simple creatures. We want to
Yeah.
do what's easy and we avoid what's hard, right? So you
Yeah.
kind of just divide it into that. You make eating you make it easy for you to eat good things. So I mean, really easy. You got to have fruit out on your counter. You got to have certain things easily accessible. I've even gone to the point where I'll put a big bowl in my fridge and cut all the fruit up like all the time. It's just there, so it's very easy for me to do. And then I have to beg and plead with my wife for her not to bring all the snacks in the house for the kids.
Yeah.
Because if it's there, I'll get weak and eat it. So you have to have a plan, like what we were just talking about, to
I
just
like I
come
like
into.
how it all just rolls into one. You need a plan to break bad habits.
Mhm.
You need a
Yeah,
plan.
it's
You need an action
you
plan.
don't you have to plan to do things good. If you want to do bad, you don't have to do anything. We just sort of just evolve right into doing bad. If you no one needs any help to be evil or to do bad habits. It seems like that's the way we're wired. You just roll that way. But to do the opposite, you have to have a plan. You got to make it easy for you to eat well throughout the day, which means prepping ahead of time. And
Yeah.
look, you can't beat yourself up when you make that mistake. When you have that bad habit, what's crazy, Ralph, is that we'll mess up and then we'll just go into this deep hole of unforgiveness and repetitively criticizing ourselves over and over again. But what are we talking about? We're talking about that negative thing. So we're building it up more. And what our brains have, one last thing, is a goal setting mechanism. Birds can fly south every year. They have a thing that God created them to go that way. Fish can swim thousands of miles across the sea, up rivers, over dams, and everything else to get to the place where they were born. Humans
Yeah.
have the ability. We're creators, so we create what we get emotional about. Emotional about.
Yeah.
So if you it, and that part of your brain doesn't know right from wrong. So if it says Eric gets really upset and emotional when he eats a whole bag of family size M&Ms when he goes to the movies, then guess what? it's going to focus on that part of your goal setting mechanism is going to say Eric wants to eat family size M&Ms, and it's going to thwart every attempt that I go to not to do it. So
Yeah,
then you have to break that. You have to, like, if you mess up, you got to forgive yourself. It's okay.
yeah,
Whatever that bad thing is. I don't care how bad it is. You have to say, listen, that's I used to be horrible with names. You can't say I'm terrible with names. If you say I'm terrible with names, it's because you don't want to be good with names, but you're going to continue to be terrible with names. You have to say I used to be bad with remembering names. Because guess
yeah.
what, Ralph? If I say, all right, Ralph, the next person you meet, if you remember their name for a day, you get the suitcase he's carrying for 100,000. I bet you remember his name then. And without any
Oh,
training, I ain't got to train you to do nothing. With
without a
memory
shadow of a doubt.
techniques. So first the want has to happen. I don't know if I did that
Yeah.
whole process backwards, but that's just a few
No, but
things.
you're telling the
Plan.
truth, man. You're telling the truth.
Hmm.
I mean, the want to, the plan, the forgiveness of self. This is how we get out of the bad habit thing. But we have to understand too that bad habits can break you. It's important. And like Eric said, guys, don't beat yourself up because you had a bad moment, a bad day. You fell back into something. Then have a plan, devise it, get back out of it. We're talking about personal development. Remember, personal development. Remember the two words. This is personal development. Personal development. So as I'm growing, I may outgrow some other people. And one of the things crucial to our personal development is bad habits. We need to break them before they break us. Today is a new day. I don't know what you fell into yesterday, but today is a new day. Hey guys, if you guys would come on up on stage and talk about this, is wide open. Jasmine and Isidro and Marwan, thank you for listening. Guys can come on up and check it out. I do have, while you guys are thinking about it and I'm having something to add, I do have upcoming in January, we're running a cohort with, I have some slots open, and we're talking about personal development. We're doing 6 weeks of an in-depth training on personal development and growing. I can't lead until I'm fully personally developed, or if I'm growing. We're talking about all kinds of things, all things personal development. Go to the Ralph Graves Jr. website, ralphgravesjr.com/apply, and if you fill that out, someone will get back to you. And there's gift boxes involved in that. But anyway, we're going to start a journey. We'll start a 6-week journey together, and you could be part of that beginning of the year cohort. We're going to talk about plans and writing the plan. We're going to kind of dive deep into some of the stuff we're talking about today and some other things as well. Number 3, and we got about 7 minutes left, but again, guys, come on up to the stage if you want to. Just hit the request button. Connecting to your purpose is crucial in this area of personal development. Connecting to your purpose. Notice I didn't say finding the right job. Notice I didn't say finding the right spouse. That's very important. But connecting to your purpose is crucial. Your life will never grow beyond your own personal development. And one timeless lesson is you need to connect to your purpose. If there is one thing that rings true, it's connecting to your purpose in life will lead to true fulfillment and lasting success. All right? If you connect to your purpose in life, it will lead to true fulfillment and lasting success. Here's something that is crazy. Maybe we could talk about this for a while, Eric. And I don't understand. It's crazy that no amount of money, right? Think about your job, Marwan, Sidra. If you had a job when you were younger, I know what you guys do now. I know Eric's an entrepreneur. Jazz is, she's working, but she's also an entrepreneur. A lot of us are bivocational. But think about this: no amount of money. And I was a police officer for 20 years, sergeant in the police department. No amount of money they offered me at that job that really wasn't my purpose. It was my job. It was a job. Job, just over broke. It was a job, and I liked the job, and I did a good job. but no amount of money they offered me on my job made me work harder. Yeah. No amount of money
Mm-hmm.
that they
Mm-hmm.
offer you at your job will make you work harder, especially in this area of not being connected to your purpose. Why is it that a man who puts in a 9 to 5, 40 hours, paying the mortgage, wife, kids, the whole nine, won't work any harder on his job, but will come home, like I said before, I think Eric was in the meeting I had, but come home and practice the guitar like his life depended on it.
Mm-hmm.
Or get into a hobby like their life depended on it. It seems like sometimes those things that we do outside of the job, outside of the just over broke, are more connected with our purpose than the job itself. And so what I'm saying to you, personal development is more than just finding the right job and all. It's are you connected to your purpose? Connecting to your purpose is crucial. What if you walking in your purpose? And now you guys know, if you listen to this, if you read my bio, you know I pastor a church. The Bible says that your gifts will make room for you. What if really connecting to your purpose was the thing that created the lifestyle in which you live? Think about that. Have you really connected to your purpose? That purpose, that innate purpose of who you were designed to be, that is supposed to be the thing that allows you and affords you to live a certain lifestyle. You would love getting up in the morning. If you got paid to do, Eric, what is it? I know what you love. Eric, if you
Mm-hmm.
got paid millions of dollars to create the baggers, to create the hot rods, I know your hobbies. Like I said, you guys listening, we've
Mm-hmm.
been friends forever. You would
Mm-hmm.
love waking up in the morning.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's funny how the human brain works. No amount of money will make you work harder at your job. But there's something about connecting to your purpose. I mean, I'm sure your job will give you perks. Hey, if you make this deadline, you get extra 20,000. Okay, you only did it for that, and as soon as you get that, you go right back to the work you were putting in prior to that.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think about that? It's weird when you think about it. I don't care what kind of raise you get. I was not a better police officer. I was not a better sergeant because of the raise. I wasn't.
Yeah.
I was good at what I did. It didn't make me better. And so this is why connecting to your purpose is crucial. How does one find their purpose? Maybe I'll talk about that. But connecting
Yeah.
to your,
That's
if you're going, connecting to your purpose leads to fulfillment and lasting success. A job just over broke doesn't lead to fulfillment or lasting success. It leads to, maybe creating a little bit of lifestyle you have, but, you know, I don't know about you guys. I want to be fulfilled before I leave here. Come on, Eric. Let's talk about it, man. We got about 3 minutes, man. I
yeah.
know that was
Oh,
crazy what
three
I just
minutes.
said. I know it was
Yeah.
deep.
Yeah. Yeah, it's deep, and I think it's probably the most important thing, that folks on the line want to hear, and it's not going to be found in a book. It's not going to be
No.
found in the top 10 books. It's not going to be found on findingyourpurpose.com. It's only going to be found between your two ears and God above,
Yeah.
whatever you believe, but like it's spiritual and it's it's extremely personal. So what you got to find out, and it only comes from taking time. And let me tell you something. I found myself walking in my purpose, but I think I was too busy looking at what everybody else was doing or looking outwardly to find my purpose. I spent like
Yeah.
50 years looking outwardly to what is my purpose and then didn't even realize I was walking in it. I used to hate my company, but what I found is it gave me the ability to talk to people and to bring them
Yes. Yeah.
together to
Yeah.
solve a problem
Yeah.
and to start something new. And that's what my purpose is. It's getting
Yeah.
on the front end where there's a challenge and nobody knows how to do it. and we all get together, we bring the right person for the job in, and we figure this thing out. And I could do that all day long, and it really will
Yeah.
fit into, doesn't matter what I'm doing. It's not the actual, if you made me a police officer, I'd have to be in that division where we were maybe figuring out problems like that, but otherwise I'd be miserable. And even as when I had my own garage, even though I loved mechanical things, when it became a problem that I couldn't solve, and it was a headache,
Yeah.
and it was more than I could
Yeah.
handle, I hated it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
hated it. But
Yeah. Yeah.
it's all spent time back to that journal, writing down.
Yeah.
You got to look at, what are
Yeah.
you good at? What do you have the opportunity to do? Like, because you look at your own life. All right, what am I doing? What am I
Hmm.
thinking? How do I feel when I do these certain things? Am I good at this? And do I have an opportunity to repeatedly do it? That's
Yeah.
usually the starting area where your purpose is hidden, but
Yeah.
it'll take time to stay right there. And sometimes
Yeah.
we're doing things, but we're always looking at Joe across the fence, looking at the grass on the other side of the fence, saying, man. And in this world of social media, it's you're getting hit with 5,000 things every hour about, oh,
Yeah.
look, Bobby's 16, he just got a Ferrari. Like, um,
Whose birthday is
Betsy
today?
is,
Yeah.
yeah, Betsy just had a birthday in the Maldives, you know what I mean? The islands.
Yeah.
Like, she's
Yeah.
only like 22. Like, what am I doing
Yeah.
wrong? You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
where I don't care if I could give you a billion. Why do you think, Ralph, so many billionaires and millionaires are miserable? You know,
Purpose.
so
You
many
never
of them.
found purpose because it's
Yes.
only connecting with purpose that you find fulfillment. And
Yeah.
although they have made, I always thought it was sad that Whitney Houston dies in a bathtub. I thought it was sad that Prince dies
Robin Williams.
outside of LA.
Yeah.
Robin Williams, I forget his name, from News Radio, committed suicide. I don't want to commit suicide, but just a miserable life that led to his death. I always thought it was sad, and it had nothing to do with money. It had everything to do, with fulfillment, and they had some other issues going on. But
Mm-hmm.
this finding your purpose, that connects us to fulfillment. Listen, I am not saying this, and I don't want to get off this podcast saying that you need to go out and quit your job. No, no, no. Let your job serve its purpose. You got kids and all that kind of stuff to take care of the kids. But kids are going to leave, right? If you're lucky, your marriage stays together if you do it right. But even then, spouses die. Who knows which one's going to go first? If you're not walking in purpose, you move from, and I'm talking to the moms on here and who are listening, you move from taking care of the kids, which is noble, to now you never found purpose. Now you're taking care of the grandkids. And like you've never found a purpose that really fulfills. Yeah, I don't know. That might be your purpose, but whatever it is, you need to connect to it. You need
Yes.
to connect to
Yeah.
it.
And I say, I say quit. No, but I say quit your job. I
If
was
you're in the
never able to
position to do
hold.
that, yeah.
I was never able to hold down a job more than 2 weeks if I didn't like it, and sometimes I think, like, you're going to be all right. Like, now if I say, when you quit, you got to have a plan, and you got to be ready for the pain. Don't think that everything in
Yeah.
life is going to be rosy and nice. If you want to get strong, you go to the gym. And if you want to get this personal development thing down, and you got that plan, when it's time to quit, you better quit, because there's only
Yeah.
so many opportunities you're going to have in this world, and they're not unlimited. So like, there's a book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F, is like,
Right.
kind
Right.
of, you only have so many things to care about,
Yeah.
so there's so many people going through their life working through jobs that they can't stand, and you're in the most there's never been an opportunity like this in the history of mankind, I don't think, to where you can really kind of make your way,
Yeah.
make something, even if you want to work from home, whatever, start your business. Starting a business is a sexy thing now. Everybody's doing it. But back when I was doing it, it was looked at, I was a failure. Oh, you didn't finish college? So you really have to just go after what's in it for you, and
Yeah.
whatever it is. And
Yeah.
and
The
and
word
it's going to hurt.
entrepreneur. the word, you see, and for those listening, Eric's been doing over 20 years now, man. Over 20 years. And the word entrepreneur back in the day when you started meant he didn't have a job.
Yeah.
Meant unemployed.
Hmm.
That's what it meant.
I
And
let my
it
mom
wasn't a
down. My
sex.
mom was disappointed.
Yeah, it wasn't a
You
sexy
know.
term as it is today.
Mm-mm.
Entrepreneur meant that you would quit school. Entrepreneur meant he ain't got no job. But guys, we're talking about personal development, and all these things are key and crucial. And it's 10:30. Now, thank you guys for hanging in there. Isidro, Marwan, Jazz, and anybody listening to this on the replay. Make sure you replay it. Now, Eric, before I let you off, I didn't even tell them about Connector Rocket. Eric is also the CEO of Connector Rocket. Um, Eric, how can they find you, man, if someone wants to work with you, if someone wants to maybe collaborate or have you take the lead in something? What's some of your websites or what's your website, your LinkedIn? Tell them where they can find Eric Brown.
Yeah. Some of the key things is Eric Brown at JTP Transportation. You can go on Instagram with Connector Rocket. Uh, it's with a C, Connector Rocket with a C, or with a K should bring you there, but I think it's with a C now. I switched it back and forth. Eric
Okay.
Brown. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. Connector Rocket's on there also. With Connector Rocket with a C, ConnectRocket. Connector Rocket.
Okay.
And what
All right.
we love to do is just bring the right people in the room, man. To get
Yeah.
making a difference in people's life. Your purpose has to be bigger than you,
Has to
you
be.
know, and
Eric,
which it
last thing,
is.
man. Last thing I want to ask you on personal development, then we're going to let everybody go, and I got to go too. If you could have a billboard anywhere in the world, where would it be? And what would it say in this area of personal development? If you have a billboard anywhere in the world,
If I could
where would
have
it
a
be?
billboard,
And
man,
this is,
you caught me off guard, but I would say just
I
no
know, that's why I asked that question.
to
I asked that
be,
question to
yeah,
everybody that's a guest. It's designed to catch you off guard.
to be or
Where would
not
it
to
be?
be. That's an old term, to be or not to be, and it would be in it. Golly, it would just be. I would have to say, for some reason, it's just calling me to say in New York City. Because you
There
are.
you go.
It goes
Okay.
back to your purpose. You're gonna
Yeah.
be who you're gonna be. Like if to be or not to be, I used to think that was too short and a little weird. But are you gonna be who you were made to be or not?
That's the
That's
question.
that's the only thing you're gonna do in life. You're either gonna walk in your purpose or you're not. And not walking in is gonna be misery.
Yeah.
For the rest of your life. But
Well,
walking
thank you
in
for
it is
that.
joy, you know.
It's joy. Thank you for that, man. Thank you for sharing. And again, guys, thank you for listening to the program. Guys, go to my website, Ralph at RalphGraceJr.com. Find out what's happening over there. Join this cohort on personal growth. It's going to be a dynamic, phenomenal 6 weeks. RalphGraceJr.com/apply. It's right there in the fortune cookie as it's scrolling across. Fill that out. Seth Silver is my normal co-host, who's not here today, but he'll call you back, get you enrolled, and we're going to start this journey, the 6-week journey, into some phenomenal personal growth together. So thank you for listening, Jazz and Eric. Thank you for being a guest, Marwan, Isidro.